I don't know who Wesley Snipes pissed off. I mean, seriously, I don't know who he pissed off, but he has definitely pissed him off. And because he's done that, he's put the whole, what could we say, the whole situation in a spiral as far as celebrities and taxes and the law. And here on One Crack News, we like to give you just the facts more than just personal opinion. You know, West tried to cooperate with the federal government for years before forced to go to prison. Now he's forced to pay millions to the IRS after failing to convince a tax court that he doesn't have the assets to pay more than the six figures that they're asking him for. The IRS tried to collect 23.5 million in back taxes when West asked for a compromise, which would have let him settle the taxes for about a debt less than the amount that was owed for the notice of like federal tax liens that was filed against him in his home. All that stuff would be withdrawn. He put up just shy of 850K in cash as an OIC, but the IRS rejected the offer and sustained its lien. So he had to file a petition to ask the tax court to overturn the decision. And of course, U.S. Tax Court Judge Kathleen Kerrigan said, no, we're going to upheld the IRS decision. And so that basically that's going to, finding him, failing to provide information, they said, to prove of insufficient funds, assets, and financial conditions. And that settlement offer didn't abuse his discretion in rejecting his request. So I don't even know what that means. But the thing is that the lien that was placed in August of 2013 was just a few months after he was released from prison. Now, when he was released to prison for tax crimes, he owed that money 23.5 for the years of 2001 through 2006. Snipes then requested an installment agreement or OIC, which and he made his cash payment, and a settlement officer looked into his real estate holdings and estates, but was unable to determine that he no longer owned certain properties that he claimed to have unloaded. So following the investigation, the officers determined that the reasonable amount that could be collected was about 17.5 million, but Snipes didn't increase his OIC offer. During the proceedings that followed, West and everybody with him claimed that his financial officer had taken out loans and disposed of assets without his knowledge and offered up an affidavit from the advertiser, from his advisor, which means that admitting to his misconduct, but he didn't provide documentation showing the diversion of the assets. Meaning that the dude who ripped him off, his financial advisor who did all this stuff, and him taking up through an affidavit saying, admitting to his misconduct of doing this without Wesley's consent, they still have no proof of the financial documentation of the diversion of the assets. The settlement officer later reduced it to 9.5 million, but Snipes said with his original offer, he stayed with that original offer. So given the disparity between the petitioner of 842,061 cents, the OIC and the settlement officer calculated 9.5 million as his RCP. So, as the petitioner inability to credibly document his assets, the settlement officer and her manager has ample justification to reject the offer. Also noting that Wesley Snipes failed to show up paying the bill would result in an economic hardship. We conclude that the settlement officer did not abuse her discretion in determining that accepting the petitioner's OIC was not in the best interest of the United States. So whoever he ticked off, the air on Wesley Snipes as if he's the most guiltiest man in the universe. I mean, everybody got tax problems who making money, but it's how you handle it that gets you from point A to point B. And I don't know who he trusted with his funds and finances, but they definitely didn't do a great job. So with that, you know, I'm out. Thank you for supporting One Crack News. Please subscribe, and hit that notification button. Make sure you get caught up with everything that goes by. Peace.